Hi, this is Meg. Welcome to Spit It Out. This is where we cut the fluff and spill life's real truths. Today, I have my very special guest, Floss Fairy Anistinn here. We are talking all things new grad. I am so excited to have her on, so please welcome her. Thank you for joining us, Anistinn. How are you today?
Thank you. Good. I just got one of my clinical boards done out of two. I just had to take my national board on Thursday, and then I'm done, so I'm feeling good.
I'm so proud of you. That is like
Thank
the
you.
most, I feel like, overwhelming but so exciting part of graduating. And so good luck. You are going to do amazing. You're going to pass. And
Thank you.
I can't wait to hear about it. To start off here, what made you want to start your TikTok page and how did you figure out your own style as a hygiene student?
First, I was like, everyone wants to vlog, right? I'm like, oh, I'll vlog. And the school that I was going to, I didn't see a lot of content for it. I was like, well, maybe I'll start doing content for it because when I was searching for my school, I'm like, I can't find anything, like nothing about the hygiene program. I want to get excited. I want to see what's coming and get excited for it. So I started vlogging, but there was a reason why there was no vlogs for it because the policy is that recording was prohibited. Long story short, I went from vlogging to education. I have really loved educating people and helping people get hard topics easier. So I started doing that. And, that's kind of how I found my flow is, had one obstacle and kind of went to the next and was like, we're going to keep doing this because I like it. And yeah, so went from vlogging to educational.
Do you think you'd ever go back to making vlogs?
Yeah, I feel like now it's a little bit easier and I'm not super stressed. So I'll probably do my little vlogs every now and then.
I hope so. I'd love to see your daily
Thanks.
routine after graduation. I feel like locking that in, you feel like I'm a real adult, I'm like, okay, I can do this. And I love that. So
Yeah.
you talk a lot about stepping out of your comfort zone in your videos. So what moments pushed you to do that?
Well, for those of you who don't know, I feel like I'm the master at finding patients or finding creative ways to find patients. And for me, it was like, okay, I have to go out of my way and find patients, right? I first made business cards and stuff like that. And then I started dressing up like the tooth fairy and going downtown, have a big sign that says free cleanings, and that gets everyone intrigued or people looking at you like crazy. But I had to think about it in a way because a lot of people are like, oh, I have social anxiety. I can't do that. Or social anxiety, scared of you, whatever. And it's like, well, if I take myself out of it, so what got me out of my comfort zone is having to ask for patients, which all of us have to do at some point, right? In hygiene school, it's the main thing. A lot of the time you think about having social anxiety of asking people to be your patient. It's like, why would you have a stranger come up to you and ask for free dental cleanings? Kind of sounds like it's suspicious. But anyway, so I would go out and I would dress up like a tooth fairy and have this free dental cleaning sign and people looked at me crazy. I had to think about it in a way as not embarrassed of myself because it's not about me. I got to get a grade to pass, but it's not about me. It was about helping the public know about free dental cleanings and then helping not just me, but my classmates and other people at my school to find patients because it's hard. There's 90 people, there's 30 per cohort. And it just kind of got me stepping out of my comfort zone in that way to think about it not as helping yourself, but helping others. Because that's what we do as hygienists.
And on that note, I was curious, what was the most successful way to get patients? Out of all of the things you did for these, 18, 24 months, what was the one thing that you're like, this was it. This is what got me the most patients?
Honestly, it was the first Fridays that I would go out and dress up because I had this Google sheet, right? And I would have business cards and in the Google sheet would tell me the dates. I would track who would put it in on certain dates. So if I went on first Friday of the month, I would see either that night or a couple days after to see who signed up. And majority of the time there was 10 to 20. I think the most we've had was 30 people sign up in that time period. Other times I'll go to stores and stuff and pass them out, but not as a social, what is it called? Not I'm soliciting, but hey, how are you? Here's my card. Anyway. And, there's people who do Facebook, but I didn't get much luck. So I felt the most successful thing was First Fridays, getting that outreach.
What is a First Friday for those of us who don't know what that is?
So First Friday is every first Friday of the month. Phoenix throws this like street party.
Oh my gosh. That's so
And
cool.
right? And there's like no parking, but,
No.
but you get to walk everywhere and people have all these vendors and it's artwork, it's music, like it's this DJ sometimes that plays music. And so I'm dancing with my sign, getting people's attention. Anyway, so there's like a bunch of street vendors and art and stuff. And it's actually really cool. It's like a little strip, kind of like Vegas, but in a really small way.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like really fun. So, how do you juggle creating content for students while still learning and growing as a professional?
Oh, well, you know how they talk about that triangle? Oh, it's like you have your social life, you have your sleep, and then you have your school. Well, I was like, well, I have all three because social media, right? No, that's not it. Even though I get to have like my social life with you guys, my hygiene besties, like outside of that, I still have school, right? So like my main priority was school and then getting my videos because they're educational. So I was like, okay, cool. I got good grades. I'm studying. I'm tutoring. Like I'm socializing and I'm not going to sacrifice sleep either. So, social life kind of had to go. It was kind of easy to balance it because that's all I was doing was, my social media and school, which went hand in hand. But I kind of like felt a little like sad because I wasn't getting that friendship with my cohort and going like and kind of becoming stronger because I'm like, oh no, I got a tutor, or no, like I really gotta make this video, like I gotta study. And sometimes like when you hang out with your cohort, you kind of yap, but it's like, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to study and just like nothing really aligned. And so like 5th semester, I quit tutoring and I was like, okay, I'm gonna focus on myself. And I started hanging out with a couple of my classmates and we became a lot closer. Long story short, they really tell you one of those things in that circle kind of goes away, or that triangle, not circle, like the triangle of social life and sleeping and school.
So, with the tutoring, I know you mentioned that in your content as well. Was that a paid position or was it volunteering?
It was paid. Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
great. Did you have any other jobs while you were in hygiene school?
A couple. So let's see, what did I do? I would do like DoorDash, not DoorDash, just kidding. Instacart. There we go.
Yes.
So Instacart, like when I was like, well, there's nothing for me to do. For 2nd semester, I worked at Spirit Halloween. Temporary, part-time, holiday. I would never do that again. But I did that, and then I would pet sit. So I did Rover, and then I kind of like got in connections. And actually, because of my, social media, I actually met somebody whose brother was moving here to Arizona and they had dogs to watch. So I was like, okay, hygienist friend, got me a little pet sitting job. So it was really nice. Did that. So tutoring, and then Cloud Dentistry. So Cloud Dentistry needs me to promote their stuff.
I'm definitely going to have the link to your Cloud Dentistry in the description. So anyone watching, anyone can join Anistinn's Cloud Dentistry, and she's got the deets. What has helped you succeed the most in dental hygiene school when it comes to studying and finding patients that met your qualifications?
Well, main ones is active recall for sure. That was like literally my biggest thing was active recall, especially when I recorded those videos. And then I was tutoring too, so I was constantly over and over and over again repeating myself. So it was like, okay, mnemonics were my big thing. Is I have to have a silly little crazy mnemonic to make it make sense in my brain. So when I'm second guessing myself, like I'll be like, okay, well, the mnemonic is this. So that like those are the big things, is active recall and mnemonic. And then for patient requirements, like make sure you get your hard patients done faster. Like the places you can find hard patients. Well, first Friday, everyone's smoking,
Hey.
So there's that. I had a teacher say the gym. And that's because people going to the gym, they're going to be taking a lot of protein. And people who take a lot of protein build up calculus faster.
I didn't know that.
What? Yeah. So there's that. People who work at mechanic shops or dealerships. I got a lot of my patients from there when my boyfriend worked at the dealership. Let me tell you, they have no time for personal care because they're doing sales. So anyway.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Genius. No,
places.
that's like really smart. That's really smart.
Right.
I know you just graduated, but I'm curious, what do you think students don't learn about enough in hygiene school that would really help them in the real world?
That's a really good question. So I recently just did like a shadowing at an office, and luckily I had my grandbig who was there. So like my
Cute.
Right? Okay, I was like, you know what I mean, right? So
Yeah.
my big's big. She ended up working at that office, and I was like, oh my gosh, hey. So when I was there, I realized like, so what happens? Like, I'm like anxious because I'm like, so I love what I'm doing, but like, what what is the job? Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
what am I doing?
How do I do it in real life? I
Yeah.
ask teacher permission. That's it. But what I learned is like, so when you go to do the instructor check after you do your treatment plan, that instructor check is like going to the front office and telling them about the treatment plan that you have. And then that front desk office person is going to do the insurance thing and talk to the patient. I was like, oh, okay. So it makes it a little easier. Because I was like, I don't know how that works. So that helped me out a lot.
Something that blew my mind the first time I started working was local anesthetic, doing it by myself for the first time.
Yeah.
I'll never forget. I'll never forget. Well, I'll set the scene. I had just gotten my license. It was like Monday morning, and I hadn't had any patients yet, but I was still shadowing a little bit. And the hygienist that I was working with was like, "Hey, do you want to just give my patient IA really quick?" And I was like, yeah, whatever. I just remember like everything was slow motion. I was like, okay, get the syringe, take the top off. I know how to do this. I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna go. And I'm sure the patient was like, what the hell is this lady doing right now? But just doing that for the first time and being like, there's nobody over my shoulder watching me. I don't know. I can't wait for you to experience that because it just hits different. I don't know. I don't know how you felt in local anesthetic lab, but I felt very like hawk-eyed, watched over, which is totally fair. But it's so much different in the real world.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because in 5th semester, so in 3rd, we had gotten licensed. No, JK. In 3rd, we were learning local anesthetic. 4th, we were licensed. So 5th semester, it was like you could do it on your own. Go ahead. And we're like,
Oh my gosh.
can you watch me until I feel comfortable? And like, it was to a point sometimes where I'd be like, okay, you're taking too long. And like, I do it, but I'm like, I'm still like scared. Like when I don't have enough practice, I'm like, I forgot how to do it.
I think my school that I went to ended up doing what you kind of had after I graduated, because I remember now that we're talking about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is such a good idea to just do it once you learn it. Because yeah, my experience doing it without it was like so anxiety inducing. But I'm so glad that you didn't, you don't have that exact experience as me, because it's just so stressful, so stressful. Anyone out there who's going to hygiene school, just know that there's very different ways that schools will do it, and you never know until you get there. Going back to patient care, can you share a patient experience that made you realize the impact of dental hygiene or shaped how you see the profession?
So I feel like every patient that I had come in, they were either like a friend or family, and it was just really good to see them come in and me gain knowledge every single time that they come in and I grow. But being able to educate them on things that I can help them with. They have problems and I'm able to help them solve it right then and there that they didn't even know that was affecting them systemically from their oral cavity. And I think that is just so amazing. Like a problem that they could have going on could be solved through the oral cavity. That's crazy. Another thing, I have a lot of nursing friends. And those nursing friends are able, like, I'm able to educate them about this. And we're able to, like, have that interprofessional collaboration so that they can go out and educate their patients or their friends or their staff or, what is it called? Coworkers about certain issues that are going on that they didn't learn in nursing school. So I was able to be that education for them for, their part. So that was really nice.
I love that because I just had a nurse the other day as my patient, and they were going to nurse practitioner school. And I was just like, let's chat. And it's like, it doesn't end after hygiene school. That's the best part. Like, there's so many healthcare professions that you're going to see, and you're going to they're going to teach you things too. And I love that you can take those little parts and just bring them all together and wrap them in a little bow and be like, hey, nurse friend, did you know that your patients with diabetes probably need to see a dentist? And they're like, literally the best feeling ever. And it never gets old.
Insane. Insane. It's like some nurses that I've noticed, like not even just me, but a lot of them have gingivitis. A lot of nurses have gingivitis, which, hey, who doesn't have gingivitis? But like what they're not connecting is that's literally an infection in their mouth. And so they're learning about these infections and how to help them and help their patients with infections that are every systemic, right? They don't realize that they have one in their mouth going on. And so I have to educate them about that. And it's like, hey, that's like an active infection going on. You need to treat that, so that you're going to be okay because other things can affect it.
Speaking of rewarding things in dental hygiene school and in the profession in general, what's been the most rewarding part of your entire dental hygiene education so far?
Graduating.
Fair.
But also, like I said, making those connections. So literally, like I was saying with the nursing thing, making those connections and having that network. Another thing is my boyfriend's family has like a little care home. So like, assisted living. It's literally like a house with bedrooms. So we're able to take care of them. But since I didn't work in a dental office, I worked at an assisted living facility. And like, that's kind of how we connected, long story short. But, I was able to help them, and kind of being there and seeing how they work with things and having those nursing connections, like it kind of like enlightened me to be like, I want to be that person who comes into the care homes and educates the patients, educates the staff. Just like I'm doing with my nursing friends, I want to continue that. And I want to make programs to educate them on how to properly care for their patients. That's been a really rewarding thing for hygiene schools, having those connections and kind of like that fire and passion to help them.
With your experience with the assisted living, what is a typical dental regimen that the nurses or the care people do? Tell me a little bit about that, because I'm not super educated on that, and I'm sure a lot of people probably aren't.
Yeah, that's a great question. So most of the time, it doesn't happen.
Sounds about right.
That's the main reason why I'm like,
Yeah.
I need that. I want to educate them for that more. But when I have seen it, and those who do care for them, a lot of the time they have dentures and they don't know they have the dentures, or there's something going on, and it's not getting taken out. But regimens, like they would just brush her teeth with toothpaste or mouthwash. They get like those little sponges and they would brush with mouthwash. I ordered from, the Arm& Hammer hygiene thing, and I ordered that for my boyfriend's care home because I'm like, no. And they had like these hard toothbrushes that are terrible. It's literally like plastic. I'm like, what can I show that literally is like, it's like putting plastic and just like scrubbing your teeth like a hairbrush, like those like hairbrushes. And I'm like,
wow.
Not on my watch. No, I'm getting that. Like, I'm like, no.
Oh
So
my
I had to
gosh.
like get the brushes and stuff, but it's really simple stuff. But most of the time it's the last thing on their mind. No one wants their teeth brushed. No one wants to brush their teeth, because most of the time people or CNAs or caregivers, depending on if it's like an assisted living facility or a home, it's like 1 to 2 caregivers per like 10 patients or more. Sometimes it can be like 20, 30. So it's like they're going to be changing the patient. They're going to be cleaning the patient. They're going to be showering the patient. They're going to be feeding the patient. Where is the time for brushing teeth? So like that's not going to be done, and there's no one else to help them. So it's like this, they're like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. They're not going to see anybody. Like they're not going to be kissing anybody. Like it's just mouth. Like they're old. Why do their teeth matter?
Right.
What do you mean? What do you
Right.
mean? There's so much
true.
more. Like, like you said, like diabetes, all these old people, most of the time they have diabetes, especially in America.
High blood
Like,
pressure.
and
Oh my
high blood pressure,
gosh.
so many
Everything.
things.
Everything. That's is challenging, but I'm really glad that you're so passionate about that, because I really do think adding more mobile dentistry with folks like that is vital. That and hospitals.
Mm-hmm.
I actually just remember that when I was in hygiene school, I did a similar thing to where we would go on a rotation to a nursing home. And it was one of my favorite experiences because you really don't interact with folks in that environment very often. And it's really special when, someone comes up to you, they go, "Thank you so much. I needed that." Or, "I don't know what you are, who you are, but that was really nice. I really appreciated that." And it just warms your heart. You know what I mean? Do you know that feeling?
Yeah. That memory will stick with me forever. Keep me
Exactly.
going.
Speaking of challenges, what was the most challenging part of hygiene school and how did you manage it? I know you've had many fun things.
Oh my goodness. What's not a challenging part of dental hygiene school? Everyone's always saying something about it. But what I'm going to say real quick is most people say finding patients, studying for exams, making money, which, I struggle with that absolutely. But mine personally, which was the reason why I'm like, oh, is that I really wanted to stand out, right? I wanted to be this person to be like, I love hygiene. I want to help people. I want to be that person people come to because I can help. But you don't want to stand out sometimes in hygiene school because it puts a target on your back sometimes, and it can kind of misfire, in my personal opinion. Like just focus on, your schoolwork and do your things, but don't stand out too much to where it can bring bad attention. Because even though you have good intentions, it can cause bad attention. So that's kind of what I learned. I know a lot of people warned me too. It's like, hey, be careful with what you post. And oh my God, be careful with what you post because somebody will get you.
Yeah.
So like, be careful.
Tell me what you mean by like maybe for a student who's listening, who's interested in posting.
Yes. So look at your school's policy. You want to look at that handbook because you never know what's inside of it. I never looked at it until I had to get talked to about it. So look at your school's handbook, see what you can and cannot post, get your teacher's permission for things, ask your program director, like just ask. You never know. You know, you can assume that it's okay because you're like, everyone's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But are they allowed to do that? Do they know they're allowed to do that? Like, you just never know. So always be careful and just ask for things because, you know, you can get bad attention for good
No,
intentions. So, yeah.
absolutely. I used to post YouTube videos a bit when I was in hygiene school, and I also was the same thing. I was like, I need to read my handbook. Thankfully, it seemed like they were okay. No one ever said anything, and I was like, okay. I never did anything like while a patient was in my chair, which was good, or
Yeah.
anything like that. But I still got nervous. I was still like, I need to make sure I'm doing it good. So I feel like, yeah, as long as you're going by the book, not pissing anyone off, hopefully you should be okay. But I think a lot of the videos talking about HIPAA recently have really opened everyone's eyes. And unfortunately, people did break the rules. But fortunately, I'm glad that they're talking about it. I think to shame someone almost for talking about their experiences when it comes to these things, I don't agree with that. I think if you make a mistake, own it, teach other people so no one does the same thing after you. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, exactly. And I wanted to make videos about it, but I was like, let me get my license first before I even start making videos about it. But honestly, the main takeaway truly is like learn from others and don't just assume because everybody else is making videos that you can make videos about it too, especially depending on your school, because you never ever know what the school's handbook is.
As you head into the workforce, what challenges do you think new grads like yourself might run into?
Pretty much like for me, it was just anxiety. Anxiety of the unknown, just like school, you know, like you're going to have anxiety because your patient doesn't show and you get a 0 for the day, right? But in this case, you have a little less anxiety. It's just like, oh my gosh, what is the patient going to think? What if there's a treatment plan issue? What if they can't afford treatment? But I was thinking of
You're
like
good.
the Incredibles scene where, have you watched Incredibles, like the first one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where he's like working insurance and he's like, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that. And it's like this old lady who's like, I'm so like, I can't afford it. And he's like, hey, you're not going to go here, whatever. And he's like, you're going to do that. That's how I want to be with like, hey, my school does free dental cleanings. If you can't afford this deep cleaning, but it's like, I know I shouldn't do that, but I know people do that because it's like dental hygiene students need patients. You can't afford the
Yeah.
treatment.
No, honestly, I don't see any problem with that. I think about 2 years ago, I had a patient who was in that situation where, first of all, he was a very rude patient. So we didn't really want to deal with him. Very angry, mean human being, first of all. Okay. Second of all, he needed a lot of work, but he didn't want us to like do any of it. But, instead of like bad mouthing him and being like, oh, well, you can just go somewhere else, we were like, hey, you know who'd love to see you? These dental hygiene students. They don't care if you're mean. They'll still see you. They don't care at all. You know what
They
I mean?
gotta see you.
I don't know. I felt like that in hygiene school. I was like, I don't care who you are. I really don't. Please, I'll be your best friend.
Yeah, I gotta get this quad done and we're good.
I know. We work together, babe. I'll be your friend. Once you get your license, you're officially able to do continuing education courses or CE courses. Which ones do you want to do? What are you interested in?
Definitely Botox, because in Arizona we can do Botox. So I'm like, ooh, I want to do that. But other than that, honestly, like I said, like the nursing home thing, like being able to learn more about that, connect with others. I don't know. I'm like, just so many things. But the main one right now, Botox for sure.
Do a lot of dental offices do that? Like you'd have a separate column? Like how does that work with hygiene and Botox? Do you have any idea? Because I don't.
I'm not too sure, but the office that I shadowed at, doctor, like the new age, the younger doctor, the
Yeah.
younger doctor had his Botox certification. And I don't know how they did it, but I think it's whoever they offer it to. Like if somebody's having TMJ issues, majority of the time, that's why they do it, right?
Yeah.
At a dental office is for TMJ issues. I don't know if it's really super cosmetic unless they, were like, hey, I'm having a little forehead wrinkle
Yeah.
moment. Like, well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how it goes. But I know I'm going to need some of that. But I think it's really depending on the patient,
Yeah.
you know, like especially when you're doing that EOIO and you're like, okay, open, and they have that pop and click, or they're complaining about clenching and grinding. It's kind of like whatever comes up when the treatment plan, I think, I'm assuming.
I think that's so cool that you guys can do that in Arizona. And I know that Utah just passed it. And in California, I think dentists can do it. However, I heard that's only for masseter, which I think is kind of lame in my opinion. No shade to California, but I'm like, come on. They're smarter. They can do everything.
Yeah. Well, maybe I was thinking because I'm like, well, I feel like California is like the main, like,
Yeah.
so what is it? Like the main surgery place. Like everyone goes there to get plastics. Like California
Yeah,
is like the plastic state.
true. Yeah, I'm kind of
So,
shocked about that, but maybe they'll change their mind. Who knows? What excites you most about the future of our profession and the role you want to play in it?
well, just becoming an RDH is like super, super fun. Like that's a huge accomplishment, right? But like I said before, is like the interprofessional collaboration. Like it's so important to have dental people in hospital settings because you
Mm-hmm.
know, people come in like, oh my gosh, I'm having, like this is hurting. And it's like, you just need to go to the dentist, you know?
Mm.
Or there's so many things, like I said, in the oral cavity that can be helps for systemic issues. So it's like, I really, really, really want to be a part of that, like changing the world of hygiene and like, hopefully, I don't know, one day even helping like insurance issues. Like, why is dental not health? Like, why is it seen as cosmetic? Like, yeah, it can be cosmetic and aesthetics, but it's like the main thing about dental is systemic. So it should be counted as health. Anyway, so I want to be part of that change. And I feel like in Arizona, they're having that too. Like there's this one hygienist right now at Phoenix Children's, and she is working she has her master's in public health, but she's working as a hygienist in a hospital.
Oh my gosh.
And she's like
Wow.
going and seeing the patients. People are referring her to the patients in there, seeing what's going on, the oral manifestations going on in the mouth, right? So she's in there for that. A lot of the kids with leukemia or, you know, different issues going on, she'll look in there, see how they're going, see if they need nystatin, see if they need Prevident, just different things going on. So I really like how she's doing that and hopefully trying to incorporate medical insurance to dental. So they're kind of doing that here in Arizona a little bit.
I love that. I love that. Something that one of the dentists I used to work with told me was that insurance companies say you can live without teeth. Sure. You can survive without teeth, but can you live without teeth? I don't think so. If you could leave students and hygienists with one piece of wisdom that you've learned, what would it be?
Don't be afraid to ask for help. That's a big thing because there'll be students who are like, I'm struggling. And then, you know, they won't really ask for help. Or sometimes like they'll ask their teachers and the teachers kind of like repeat the same thing to them as if it's going to help instead of finding different ways to, you know, do that. But, you know, ask for help, ask for tutors, ask other people for their opinions. Don't be afraid to ask for help in different ways.
I think in any way you can, you have to be your own advocate. I feel like you probably
Absolutely.
totally agree with that. I think even when you're at the doctor's office, for example, you have to care more than them. And same thing with your education. I 100% agree with that. And as we're wrapping up here a little bit, what is next for you, Anistinn, and where can my audience connect with you?
What's up next is I'm taking my boards. Yay! Yay! So I'm going to be doing that. Going to be shadowing some more offices, getting a feel for how other offices do things so I can feel a little less anxious. But that, and you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Floss Fairy Anistinn. And then I'm also going to be co-hosting Hygiene Elevated. So I'll be doing a lot of study and board reviews on there. So we're starting to do that. We're planning some stuff. So it's super exciting.
Ooh,
So
that is so cool.
so any
Oh my
struggling
gosh.
hygienes, you can watch my videos or listen to the podcast. So
Oh my
yeah.
gosh. Well, thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
being here. You are just the coolest girl ever, and I see big things in your future. Thank you so much for watching. I will put all of Anistinn's information down in the description box. So thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Sweet.
Yay!
Solid. Solid.